Let's face it, as Nintendo fans, we are often left slightly disappointed and scratching our heads asking why. Where is our Super Mario Galaxy 3? Why isn't Metroid out yet? Bring back the Ice Climber, seriously, and what were you thinking of the Virtual Boy? Well, sit back as Sean Capri and Bobby Pauls do just that. That's right, this is If We Ran Nintendo. Now, cue the music, maestro.
What is up, everybody, and welcome to episode 21 of If We Ran Nintendo. I am Bobby, the Nintendo Guru, joined by Mr. Pants himself, Sean Capri. What is up, Sean?
That is my name, and pants are my game? What? That's dumb. I don't know. I've only just sipped my mug of coffee coming out of my Raphael mug, and I have to give a shout out right off the top to my boy Jacob.
Yes, I saw that.
Bush. I need to get that self-stirring mug. That's a thing. I just wasted a spoon. This is such a waste of a spoon. All I did was take the spoon and I stirred it, and now I've got to wash it. That's dumb.
I'm with you. I'm with you completely.
So thank you, Jacob. I really appreciate it.
I'm going to move my Josh Stapleton, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out coaster to the other side.
I continue to use my Super Mario Kart coaster as my number one. This is my go-to.
My Mike Tyson's Punch-Out is my go-to. I love it. It's amazing. I can't live without it. I really...
As I set my mug on top of it, it's almost like in my mind, it's like a touch-sensitive little button, and it plays music. Like I put it down, and it's all... Do-do-do-do. I can't even do that. No, that's not how it goes. In my mind, it sounded way better, everybody. I know how to...
Okay. So, why don't we kick this episode off like we do each and every episode with some shout-outs.
But they're Geek Out! Oh, shout-out.
No, wrong show. I just got one shout-out this week, and it's to our buddy, Jules Washington.
Oh, what's up, Jules?
So he just announced today that Renegade Kid is no more, no mas, which you and I knew that kind of. Well, yeah, after the show.
Another shout out to Mark Caravan for calling me the wizard. I did call that midway through.
You did call it midway through the show.
I knew it, and he kind of he made me feel weird about mentioning it, but I thought just because.
But he didn't tell us till after the show.
I was on to something.
He didn't tell us till after the show that, and it was kind of cool. Like, he told us when it was happening and all that stuff after the show was done.
He trusted us.
He trusted us. And you know what? I loved having that trust, because when I saw the news today, I was like, oh, that's not news. I was just like, I knew about that. Come on. But it was cool, because the other thing I liked about with that was I was able to kind of calm some people, because some people immediately were like, oh my God, they're done. Yeah, they're like, oh my God, they're done. I'm like, no. It's okay. It's fine. Like, Jules is a little upset because he's splitting up with his partner that he's co-founded a company with, but he's excited at the same time because he's got a passion for 2D gaming, and that's what he gets to do. And he's happy with it. Everything's okay. Like calm down, people. And so that, so again, I want to give a shout out to Jules and thank you for coming on the show. You were a star in our eyes. We love you to death. And good luck with Atui, I guess it is. That's how you say it. Mm-hmm. That's the new game company. I see big things in the future, and I'm excited for this. Go get Totes the Goat on iTunes and on the App Store and on Google Play and all that stuff. So, yeah, so that's where we're at. So, a couple weeks ago, Sean and I kicked off. We beat everybody to the punch with the Super Nintendo Mini Classic.
Damn right we did.
We did.
Everybody copied us after that.
Yeah, everybody did. Yeah. Hey, NVC did it after us. So I just thought in my head was, we need to be ahead of the curve again. And I kind of wanted to make full disclosure. We're doing back-to-back episodes today. And if you're listening to this episode, when next week's episode airs, I'll be in Disney World. So we're not able to record next week. So I said to Sean, let's do 2 episodes back-to-back. We'll record 2 episodes back-to-back. So I
want to jump in right there. I gotta tell you something that's been on my mind about this whole we can't record next week. If you guys go back to an episode
Here we go. Why you gotta call me out?
in May, back at the end of May, I was in San Francisco.
Yeah.
I was displaced. I was in a new land. I was scared. I was frightened.
Yeah.
I found a way. I found a way. I took time out of my vacation. Not like it was for you, the listener, yes. But it was very much for Bobby. His friendship means a lot to me. I wanted to impress him. Bobby doesn't want to impress me.
See, that's not true.
I mean, so little.
Stop.
Not only did you made fun of not only did I do this and I wasn't thanked. I probably was.
You're crazy.
But you made fun of my terrible internet connection and blamed it on my choices in
hotels
where I'm staying. Yes.
Yeah. Well, when you live in a ghetto, when you're basically in an alleyway.
You know what? I showed up.
Look. Here's why. Okay. We went to Disney World. No. I have to now because you put me on blast and I got to explain.
I'm Joshing.
Stop. No, you're not. And then I'm
Josh
offended.
Brandon.
So we're going
to
Josh Brandon. No, the problem is that a few years ago, say 5 years ago, Disney used to have hardwired internet. They did away with that. And they gave everybody free Wi-Fi. Worst thing in the world because the connection is not very stable. And you're off, you're on, you're off, you're on. So my fear was not just the recording side of it. I was just afraid we weren't going to be able to record. Had nothing to do with the editing or anything like that. Like I know that I can edit at night. No big deal. My fear was, would we be able to sustain a connection to be able to record? And then would I be able to get it uploaded? I'm still worried that I'm not going to be able to get it uploaded. I'm hoping that I have enough connection that I can get it uploaded.
You just take a little blue pill, you'll get it uploaded. It'll be fine.
Why
Tell Tony to buy something special.
Why do I put myself through this every week? Why?
You love me. I'm just joking.
You're not going to love me in about 5 minutes.
I'm super jealous that you guys are going, man. That sounds
it's going to be
incredible.
Awesome. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait. I'm going to vlog the whole trip. So everybody can see it when I get back. But okay, so we're gonna jump in. So the idea here was, I got way off the beaten path here. The idea
did you do all your
was,
shout-outs?
We did the shout out already.
No, all of them.
No, I was just gonna do Jules. I gotta save some for the next show.
All right. Okay.
You're interrupting me and you're throwing me way off whack tonight, man.
I apologize. I thought it was playful banter. I don't mean to disrupt.
It is playful banter, but when I'm trying to get
over here, you do your thing.
When I have something in my mind and you're gonna train wreck me here. Man, see, I lost it. Okay, so trying to stay ahead of everybody else, I kind of thought like, hey, I want to do an N64 mini classic, whatever we're calling it at this point. Because I think that ultimately we'll get the Super Nintendo one. I don't know that we'll get a Nintendo 64 one. I don't even know if we'll get a Super Nintendo one. But I kind of thought, like, it's fun. Because it essentially becomes like a top 30 list for me and for you. And what we think are the most needed essential games in a top 30 list for the Nintendo 64. The crazy thing is when I went through the games... Mm-hmm. There wasn't a whole heck of a lot beyond 30, honestly. Like, there's a lot of sports games on the N64. Mm-hmm. That's the one thing I noticed. Like, I was like, wow. I didn't realize.
But, like, not like the sports games you might think of right away. It's a whole bunch of just, like, arcadey, cuck-off. Like, not EA Sports.
No.
Like,
no.
Well, we'll get into it.
Yeah,
I've got a couple.
I got a couple
that
too.
I love. I don't know. Anyway, we'll get into it.
Well, the other thing, too, is so if you listen to the Warp Whistle podcast with Sean and I.
And Good Mark, times.
What's up, Mark? With Mark Carabin and his brother Colin are the hosts. Colin wasn't able to make it this week, so Mark called in the heavy hitters to pinch hit and substitute. So we came in and we did what we wanted. But prior to, I want to full disclose to everybody. So prior to the show, we're all talking in chat in Facebook. And we're about 7 minutes before the show's about to go live. And Sean is like, are we doing 30 games we have to pick? Because on their show, they did Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, all that stuff. And they did like a classic mini but of the Game Boy era. So Mark said to me and Sean, like, hey, I'd like you guys to bring some games to throw on that list. They did it last week. We came on this week. So prior, Sean's like, are we doing 30 games? Or I'm not.
Not in a panic, by the way.
No. Well, it kind of sounded like a panic.
It was not. It was like, be prepared. Are we doing
so he says,
30?
Are we doing 30? I'm like, dude, we got 7 minutes to the show. There's no way we're getting 30 games within that time. And Sean's like, yeah, that's what I was asking because, I just want to make sure. I'm like, yeah, just do 5. Mark's like, yeah, just do 5. That's fine. So we go into the show and we go live. And Mark's like, all right, I think you guys brought 5. And I'm like, I brought 30. And Sean goes into this meltdown on the show. Like, you said 5. Well, what do you mean 30? What's going on here? And I'm laughing hysterically. I never had a list of 30. I had 5 games. That was it. The whole idea was just me trolling you to get you upset, and you fell into a hook, line, and sinker. And I told Mark that today. He lost it. He was laughing and thinking, he goes, Sean. I go, he did exactly what I wanted.
I need people to imagine in their minds my blank stare and my folded arms, because my silence doesn't really do that. You can't really see how unimpressed I am at that this happened, and that Bobby is recounting the story with great theatrics, by the way.
It was awesome. It was perfect.
You got me. You got me good, I gotta say.
I did. So I encourage everybody now to go back and listen to that episode just so you can hear Sean's little mini meltdown, because it was classic. It was perfect. So, all right. So the idea is
here, away from the radio, folks.
Yeah.
I might have dropped a few F-bombs. I don't think I did.
I don't think you did. You're pretty classy when it comes to that stuff.
I used to call myself really I used to call myself classy in high school. Like, that was the thing. You wanted to be classy.
Oh, God.
Yeah, we got, like, when we graduated, we got flasks with them, and they all said classy on them.
All right, so what I'm going to do this time...
You don't care.
I really don't care.
All right, move on.
What I'm going to do this time, though, is I'm actually going to keep a list. So what I would like for you to do is, if I say something that's on your list, cross it off your list. And if you say something on mine, I'll cross it off, and I'm going to have a main tally going, and we're going to fill in 30 games this time.
Do you have Micro Machine 64 Turbo on your list?
Nope, and neither do you.
No, me neither do I.
Okay. All right, we'll start with you. And I probably already know the first game on your list, but go ahead. What's your first game?
No, I don't want to start with obvious stuff. I want to go, or maybe this is what
just throw one at me.
Did you ever play Wayne Gretzky's 3D hockey?
I knew you were going to say that. Yes. I knew it. I did not put it on my list on purpose. When I saw that, I said, that Sean's going to pick that game.
I love that game.
All right, so you said...
Of course I do. I got to put in the stereotypical hockey game.
Wayne Gretzky. Because there was another one. Wasn't there 2?
I only played that one. That was definitely the one that I played.
I think the next year was like a 99 or something like that. They did a year version.
I'll find it. They even like put the goalie through the net, or they'd set it on fire and you get the little fire engine running across.
I don't believe I played it.
Oh, the turbo button. Oh man, that
I
was
remember
such
it. I remember it
game.
vividly. I think I played it somewhere, but I didn't own it. Because I wasn't big on hockey. Like that's more up north.
Yeah.
I'm not really a big hockey fan.
Jason Lacey's into hockey. We know a couple of guys in the States who are into hockey.
Yeah. It seems like if you're in a hockey town, you're big into hockey. We don't have hockey New Jersey.
Where did the Devils play?
They're in North Jersey. You're by the Giants, where New York Giants play. Growing up, it was always the Flyers, and that put a bad taste in my mouth. You know what I mean? Because Philadelphia fans.
A team of murderers?
Philadelphia fans are just a mess. All right, so let's do this list right, since he went all hockey on us. Mario 64 has to be on there. You know what I mean? It's got to be there. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Before we actually get going on this, I need to ask you a very important question. I feel like everybody's screaming at us this question. What is the ruling on rare games?
Wow, because I have them on here, and you know what?
See, and I don't.
See, but here's the thing. Let's be realistic here. I really feel that Microsoft would probably be a part of this and work with Nintendo to make this happen. And the reason why I say this is two reasons. One, the latest is Smash Brothers, when Phil Spencer come out and said that Nintendo could have Banjo and they could work together and figure out something with Banjo. Two, was that after Rare was acquired by Microsoft, Banjo showed up on Game Boy. Banjo games on the Game Boy Advance, I believe. So I think that they could figure it out. I mean, I think ultimately this is the dream list.
Sure.
So I did put Rare games on there just because I felt like it's a Nintendo 64 item. I know we have Rare Replay where a lot of these games are already at, but I just felt like I'm pretty sure that if Nintendo announced this to Microsoft would be willing to be like they're going to get a cut out of it. And Microsoft just seems like nowadays they're just all about the money. Mm-hmm. They don't care. They just want to sell and make money. If any evidence of that is Minecraft. Like Minecraft is on the Nintendo console. So if Minecraft, and it came last to that Nintendo console. So if Minecraft can be you, there's no doubt in my mind that Microsoft will be willing to work with Nintendo to get it on there. And like I said,
I'm 100% sold.
Yeah. So and Phil Spencer said it. Yeah. And look and this is if we ran Nintendo. If we ran Nintendo, I would view it as questions. Well, and if we ran Nintendo, let's be honest, Sean, if we ran Nintendo, we would wholeheartedly believe that these games need to be on this system, on this little mini console, and we would try to find a way to work with Phil Spencer to make it work. So I'm saying yes, it's going to be on there. You know, it's got to be. There's no reason why it's not, because at the end of the day, without them Rare games, there's not a whole lot on here. There's not you're struggling to get to 30, honestly. I was struggling to get to 30 even with them on there. So we'll see what happens.
All right. It was an important question.
Okay. No, absolutely. I agree. Because it would have got hit later on and people would have been like, oh, well, you can't put Rare games on.
You can't put Rare on there.
We can do what we want because we run Nintendo right now. So that's the end of the day. That's the answer that I'm going to get.
You can't put Rare on there. This is the first show, by the way. This is the first hour with me, buddy. So just sip
That's what I'm afraid of. That's what I'm afraid of.
Be a good night.
I should have told you weren't allowed to make coffee because now I'm in trouble.
Oh my God, I'm going to be up all. This was a mistake. I rested. I caught up on rest this weekend, man, and this was not necessary. It's just kind of nice. Isn't this nice? It's nice.
What's your next game?
Oh man, where do we want to go here? Do you want Monopoly 64 on here? I guess since we have Rare, we don't need. Okay, so I can cross that off. All right, I'm going to keep being weird.
Okay.
International Superstar Soccer 64.
No.
Yep. Are you vetoing it?
Yes. Really, dude?
The commentary alone in this game makes it better than any FIFA game available on it.
Oh.
England, have endless stamina.
The problem is I'm looking at my list, and I got a lot of sports games on there.
So do you have any soccer games? This is the soccer game. We need a spot for a soccer game.
No, we don't.
Toby Thornton, come on. I need Toby to wait on this.
Toby doesn't care because Toby doesn't like soccer.
We'll keep going. I'm gonna message Toby.
You can message. He's sleeping now. He's not gonna.
Toby, come on, man. The time zones. Maybe I'll message Seamus Mullins in Australia. I don't know.
Seamus don't care. Look we'll put it. We'll put it in a possibility, but it's not gonna make the list. I guarantee you.
All right. I'm gonna ask him.
Give me a real game. Come on.
All right. We gotta go with Smash. Super Smash Brothers. Yes. Let's put it on there.
Yes, let's go. Now you're talking.
We're gonna get there. Don't worry. I don't want to start off with
the people at home are listening. They're getting behind you, Sean. They're saying now this is if we ran Nintendo. This is the Sean Capri that we know and love. Now, did you ever play Smash on N64?
Just a little bit. I've never gone into any Smash like really that deep, but I played it a little bit. But I want it on there.
4 was the first one that I really put a lot of time into. Brawl was the first one I ever played. I never played a Smash prior to Brawl, and 4 was a lot of fun. Like I really spent a lot of time unlocking stuff. What really did it for me was the trophies. I loved unlocking the little trophies and getting them in the glass cases and stuff, and then going in and reading the Nintendo history on those little trophies. A lot of fun. I loved it. That, to me, that's all I need. Just the trophy hunting.
I feel like that's the game that actually leads this. Like that's the Mario 64 could be, that might be the no-brainer, but like Smash has kind of had this weird resurgence with the Wii U, and it really is their rare replay all in one game. It's the celebration of everything Nintendo, and that's what this N64 classic really is. So that could be like the face of it, of just having all these characters and them being together in Smash, and then you've got all these other different games.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I can't forget message Seamus, by the way, so we're gonna have to just move on.
That's fine. We're moving on.
You already did.
So my next game, I think, has to be on the list. It's one of the best, most talked about multiplayer games. Whenever you talk multiplayer games, GoldenEye.
Of course,
it's got to be on the list. Got to be on the list.
What's your favorite multiplayer map on that one?
I couldn't play that game. I had problems. First. That was the game that made me realize I could not play first-person shooters.
Oh, shoot.
I played for an hour, and I didn't even realize there was a multiplayer thing on it. Played for an hour, and my head felt like it was about to explode.
Well, probably because like the 12 frames per second that you had going on there.
It was so bad that it jacked me up, man. So I
felt really bad because I didn't know there's a gun in there called the Klob, which is named after Ken Lobb. And I had no idea.
Yeah.
But it was the worst gun. It is a terrible gun. And we called it the Knob, like a knob kind of, like we made fun of it all the time. And I learned later that it's like this gaming legend that it's named after. And I take it all back, Ken. So I apologize. This one I know you're going to like. And I feel like we've only got room for one wrestling game. And it's got to be No Mercy.
You got it. Now you're back in my good graces.
All right. See, I can't always. But how boring would this be? If you're like, here's a game, you're like, yeah, and then I'm like, here's another game, you're like, yeah.
Well, I'm sure we're going to get to the point where we're going to question each other. But that you don't do that at the beginning of the list. The beginning of the list should be the no-brainers. You knock them out, get them going, and then because then I don't want to be like, okay, we don't have Mario Kart 64 on the list. Do we put that, or do we put international soccer? I think it's a no-brainer at that point. So I'm going to go Mario Kart 64 because I think what I loved about Mario Kart 64 was it took everything that was amazing in Super Mario Kart to the next level. Mm-hmm. And it was I loved the battle mode. That was the one that really brought it home for me, because in the first battle mode you can only play 2 players split screen. This one actually you could play 4 players split screen, so it was like my little brother didn't have to sit on the side no more and watch me and my cousin battle. Mm-hmm. He could actually jump in and play with us. So I really enjoyed that one, and there was a lot of great tracks on that one.
And I should have mentioned this with the GoldenEye thing too, but the Nintendo 64 holds a very special place in my heart. I can't remember what show we were doing. We were talking about what's the best, Josh Stapleton asked a question about what have they done really great, and I talked a lot about the 64. It's a special system for me because of all the 4-player multiplayer in there, and because you played in GoldenEye, you had, I don't even know, with 4 players, maybe 6-7 maps or something like that. Mm-hmm. In Mario Kart, you had 4 maps. You always knew, just looking at somebody else's screen for a split second, you knew exactly where they were, and you could totally cheat the system. Yeah. And so I don't even think I was the only one who did this. Over at neighbor Matt's house, we created this contraption out of cardboard, this little cross that we put over the TV. We would duct tape it to the television.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding. I'm not joking. And I know I'm not the only one. I want everybody to tell us if you guys did this.
Yeah, I want to know. If you did this, tell us.
It was especially effective at GoldenEye, but definitely we did it with every multiplayer game.
That's crazy. We didn't. And like the biggest game for us was Tecmo Bowl. That was the biggest game for us. And we would have tournaments, and here's the thing. For me, I was so good at Tecmo Bowl. See my plays. If you can guess what I'm picking, Knock yourself out. I don't care. You're not going to stop me. You're not going to. And I was that arrogant and that good that I wanted that competition. And so for me, it was. I didn't really even think about that stuff growing up. We didn't, I didn't care.
It's good time.
You know what, man? I grew up in a very competitive family, and I had a lot of ego and a lot of swagger at a young age. And my brothers and my cousins hated me because I would do this thing where, and I still do it to this day. And my nephew was like me because I used to do it to my nephew all the time when he was a little kid. And my brother refuses to play video games with my nephew because he's like, it's like playing with my brother all over again. I do this thing where I start, if you're winning, I'm not saying nothing. And I'm just keeping my mouth shut. And I'm slowly building the comeback. And the minute I get ahead or I tie or I get close, I start. And I start trash talking. Like, oh, there it is. I got you now. Oh, I'm going to – and I just keep doing it the whole game.
So work.
And it gets in your head. And next thing you know,
I've seen this firsthand with Mario Kart. I've experienced this.
Listen,
I'm realizing
I did
this isn't news to me.
First movie. The Geekcast, when Toby and I play Get Your Facts Straight, I do it to him all the time. Tony refuses to play video games. She gets so mad at me when I do this stuff to her, and I do it every week.
You got to learn to turn that off with the wife. Man.
I can't, man. I can't. It's that drive. She won't play games with me because I'll start yelling at her. And we'll be playing Mario, and it's like co-op. You got to do something, and I'm like, "Come on, hurry up, let's go, jump!" She's like,
I have to admit, I do the same thing. I can't even say it.
She's like, she gets so mad, so mad. All right, what's your next game?
Oh, where to go next? Let's do the game that brought us the Rumble Pack, Star Fox 64.
Good game.
We'll barrel roll. Use the brakes.
Absolutely. I'm going to do a twofer just now. I'm going to give you two. I'm going to give you Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. Got to be
there. It is. There it is. I might have a controversial one here.
Okay.
This was when I think of my time with the Nintendo 64, I think of this game, for better or for worse. Turok, the dinosaur.
I got on my
hunter.
list too.
All right, I wasn't sure. Like, I feel like people look back on that game with like the little,
but
like,
the
they don't like
first
it too
one.
much. First one's special. The second one had that great black cart.
Yeah.
And I think it was technically better. It had multiplayer.
Yeah.
But we'll just do one. We've only got room for one Turok, and I think we've got to go with that one. That's where I learned the term pea soup fog, like where like the fog was as thick as pea soup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
Pea soup.
How
many are we at? Where are we at?
Give me another one, just because I took two on the last one.
Okay. I wish I had like a pair. Let's see. Let's do Conquer. Conquer's Bad Fur Day.
I got that as well. Yeah.
All right. Okay. I'm glad we got rare games on this.
They're essential. Honestly, they really are essential.
The only way you're not going to get International Superstar Soccer 64 on this.
Exactly.
And do yourself a favor, everybody. Just go look up just a little bit of gameplay from this. The commentary is spectacular.
I want to go sports title on the next one.
Okay.
And I think you'll respect this one. I think you'll like this one.
I really hope you're going where I'm going.
NBA Jam 99.
Oh, that's not where I was thinking, but I'll take it.
Okay.
I had never played that one.
It's basically the same. There's no difference between
side scroller, like two player, like same thing. I've never played that.
Yeah, it was all the same basically, but you gotta have NBA Jam. If you can squeeze an NBA Jam game on there, you gotta do it.
Well, that's what I really like about some of these sports games, is that they're just like they're arcade games.
They're arcade games. It's not simulator games and all that.
Totally.
Stuff, so,
yeah, which is funny when you look back, like furthest thing from simulator.
Exactly.
I'll throw a pair at you though. Here now I'm prepared for a full pair.
Okay.
We're gonna go Star Wars games a little bit here.
Okay.
We're gonna go Rogue Squadron.
Yes.
Which is the better of the two, and then Shadows of the Empire, just so that we get that great first level.
I got them both on there. Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I played that. I don't even know if I played the second level.
I think I beat that game.
That was a visit over at neighbor Matt's house. That's how I played that game. And
Gotcha.
I just always played that first level and just spinning around.
Okay, so we got one more game, then we're gonna hit the midway point. Let me make sure.
Is that it? Bobby's counting.
We got
He's
14.
got his-
We got
That's it.
14 games so far.
I'm out of games.
And speaking of Midway, Mortal Kombat Trilogy.
Ooh, I like that move. Man, you're that D-pad with fighting games, and I'll throw one right back at you here. I'll throw Killer Instinct Gold.
You know what? I didn't even have that on my list, but you know what? Yes, absolutely.
I did Killer Instinct Gold, even though that D-pad, like this is what I think about with that's really the only game I remember using the D-pad was Killer Instinct, and it would just tear up your thumb. It was so high up off the controller and so rigid and stiff. It was very different from the Super Nintendo D-pad.
Yeah, the thing with Killer Instinct that I felt was, I mean, obviously it was the prelude to Brawl or to Smash Brothers. You know, those games came out first, and then I think basically when Rare disappeared, Nintendo started doing Smash games because they were the Killer Instinct games. I felt so well. All my friends played it. And I felt like they started to take over Street Fighter games a little bit. Like I felt like there was a time when you had Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, and they were it, and that was your fighting games. And then Killer Instinct jumped in, and then you started getting all these weird ones like Clay Fighter and all these weird games. But Killer Instinct jumps in the fray, and then Street Fighter started to kind of disappear a little bit.
Well, it got a little ridiculous. It was hard to keep track of them all. There were like
Super Turbo Alpha. It was just out of control.
Everybody makes the same joke, and I used to say the same thing about when I would buy like a DVD, and it would be like the collector's Platinum Super Mega Turbo Challenge Edition Plus. Yeah, it was hard to keep track, and then Killer Instinct came in. We're like, we got this game for Super Nintendo, we got this game for N64, and I played probably at that time I was playing way more Killer Instinct.
Yeah.
So even though like Jago was kind of like a ripoff of that ninja character you got, or the kung fu kind of character. But yeah, man, I dig me some Killer Instinct Gold.
Yeah.
Super glad to play that on Rare Replay.
I'm gonna throw this one out there for Toby.
What's up, Toby?
Bomberman 64.
Oh, there it is.
And I know that he and his brother used to play this all the time when they were kids. So I definitely want to put this on the list.
Yeah, I guess.
What's you can stop it. It's a great multiplayer game.
It's fine.
Go ahead. What's your next one?
Here, I'm gonna follow that up with a game that I personally like a lot. I'm gonna go with Wave Race.
It's on my list. It's actually sitting right above Bomberman. It was a good game.
I like how 64 basically had like a whole bunch of games where the commentator was like probably the same guy. And he just yells a whole bunch. He's got like a split second little sound clip. Whoa! Where do you want to go next? Where are we at? 16, 17?
18 we're at right now.
Okay, we're doing okay.
You're doing good. I'm going to throw a little Blast Corp at you.
Yeah! I got that on my list.
Rare game.
Yep.
Good game. It was
that was my go-to on Rare Replay.
Yeah.
That was just like game, fired up.
That was the game that, like, when it got announced, I was like, this is stupid.
Oh, and it had great commercials.
Yeah, they were great commercials, but, like, I'm looking at Nintendo Power. So I'm looking at Nintendo Power and I'm thinking, this is dumb. Like, I'm just going to take, like, dump trucks and stuff and, like, plow through stuff. But then at the time, there was nothing on the console. Mm-hmm. And I wanted a new game. So I was like, I'm going to give it a shot. And I bought it, and I was like, this game is awesome. It was really cool. Little controls were a little wonky at times, a little hard to maneuver some of the stuff to do, but it was fun. I liked it.
Did you ever play Battle Tanks? Battle Tanks 64. That game had. You should Google that or YouTube this. That it's got a great commercial with the Snuggie Bear. I'm not going to put it on the list because the game on its own is no good. But the Battle Tanks had this amazing commercial, and it was like. I think it was even the sequel, Battle Tanks 2, then did a sequel to the first Battle Tanks commercials where they rebuilt the bear, and it was like the $1 Million Man or whatever the heck it's called.
Jesus.
We can build it.
Yeah, we can rebuild them.
Yeah. Such good stuff. You guys should go check that out.
That's funny.
Oh, man. Triple down memory lane. I love it. What's next? Am I next?
Yes, you're next.
Okay, I'm going to go with another sports game. one of my favorite of all time, NFL Blitz.
It's on there. I was thinking the same thing.
Oh,
such
God.
a good game.
People kind of recognized that they were kind of sharp, and everybody was these weird like round shapes, but you're totally fine with it. We came up with what we called the salmon defense, where you basically made no sense. The guy was if one of the if I was playing you and you were running in for a touchdown, and I realized I have no chance of catching you, I would just hit dive on all my players, and it would. Once you hit dive, it switched to the next guy. If you just rack on dive, all the players would kind of they look like salmon swimming upstream. They're just going to dive after you. Made no sense, but these are my weird memories, everybody.
See, this is my biggest is it took games like this away from us. And
by owning the NFL license.
Yeah, by owning the NFL license, nobody wants to put a game out there to risk put a game out there because they don't think it's going to move. They don't think it's going to sell. And it's frustrating because, it's like, man, I can't stand EA when, I don't know. The whole situation just upsets me because even Tecmo Bowl, like I said, Tecmo Bowl is my favorite football game of all time. And even when you go back and play the other ones, they don't have the players' names no more.
But that's the funny thing. A game like NFL Blitz doesn't need the NFL license. It's ridiculous.
No, but it's kind of cool just to be able to have the players because hey, this is
somebody should
Tom Brady, so
somebody should shell out $50 for the XFL license and make games for that.
Oh, they had an XFL game.
I'm sure they did, but how I don't actually know how they could do that because the XFL was around long enough for anybody to have a game development
year. It was 1 year. That's it.
A game in that time.
You know what? I like that. I like that league. I thought they did a lot of cool things.
Everybody remembers He Hate Me.
Oh God, yes.
One,
yes.
One guy's
but the other thing was that was the one thing. The players announced themselves. Now the NFL does that. They had the one camera, the swooping camera that comes up. Now the NFL does that. But that was the Rock camera. That was the camera that when you watch wrestling, it would pan across and the Rock would jump up on that top rope and throw his arm up in the air and smell the air.
Yeah.
And it was the whole pan, and it was the same thing. They took that. The problem for me was they lost steam the minute the first show started, and they brought The Rock and Austin and all them out to introduce the games. It was you should have kept it separate. The minute you started bringing wrestlers out, it was stupid. But I will say this: the best commentating team, which I did not expect, Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler. For football, I was blown away how good they were. But JR is a huge Sooners fan, so he knew football backwards and forward.
Of course.
And JR or Jerry the King Lawler, he just throws out some funny one-liners, and it's gold. So good. It was amazing. Me and my dad used to watch it every week, and we used to sit there, and he said that to me one day. He's like, man, these guys are really, really good. I didn't think they'd be that good. I'm like, they're awesome. It was
good times.
It was good
let's
times.
get an XFL game out there.
Absolutely.
All you budding game developers out there.
Exactly. All right, so I'm going to throw one on here that you always talk about. I know that you love this game, and you always throw it up there as a highly regarded game. Diddy Kong Racing.
Of course. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, love me some Diddy Kong Racing. So 2 kart racers. We're okay with this.
I'm okay with this because there's a vast difference between the two. And what I mean by that is you have Diddy Kong Racing, which is kind of like a storyline-based racing. Mm-hmm. You have a mission to do. It's not just go out and race. And as you get further along, you unlock different characters, and it's totally different. I think so.
You know what?
It's not. It wasn't a Mario Kart clone. And I'm actually shocked we've never gotten another Diddy Kong Racing ever.
Rare got bought out right after that. I feel pretty quickly. Yeah, well, I see what you're saying.
Nintendo owns the characters and all that.
Wouldn't
stuff.
That be amazing? Yeah, you're right. Wouldn't that be amazing to have that as an NX launch title? I've got my list, but I'm just kind of scrolling off. I feel like we have a real lack of role playing games. Is it just me, or like are there no role playing games?
I have
no.
one. I was gonna.
Let's give it to me.
Paper Mario.
Okay, so that's
Yeah.
It's not what I had in mind, but yeah, totally like that.
But there are no. I mean, other than Zelda, there was really no role playing game.
PlayStation.
Everybody went to PlayStation, and
Like SquareSoft was it. Like they were making
was the dogs, and they left. Now I'm pretty sure, but you can't. Don't quote me on this. Well, okay. So a couple of things. One, I think Dragon Warrior got games in Japan. They just never came to the United States. And I'm not 100%, and don't quote me on that. But the other thing was they were making Mother 3, Earthbound 2 on the N64. You can actually go back and find footage on YouTube of that game.
Man,
and
that would have been so good.
And it fell off. It fell off because they just couldn't get it to work. They were having so many technical issues with the game.
Wow, that's too bad.
It was a mess. So,
how many? Where are we at?
So,
because I feel like
we got
now
22.
We got 22. We're starting to get. We have to be maybe a little bit more selective at this point. So I feel free to just knock these off.
Okay.
Let's see. Do we have room for another shooter? Do you think?
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Perfect Dark. Let's come back to it. Okay. I like GoldenEye 64 better.
That's why I didn't pick that one, because I felt like GoldenEye was the better of the two.
Mm-hmm. We'll see if we have room for it at the end. If we're dying to fill a spot later, then maybe let's do that.
I think the one that we haven't picked yet, that's just the glaring, is Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah, of course.
But the question is what about the sequel?
I really like the sequel. And I like Banjo-Tooie quite a bit. But man, do we have room for it at this point? I mean, I really want to get International Superstar Soccer in here.
And then you also have Donkey Kong 64.
No, you don't.
Jacob, I tried, Jacob.
Nobody likes Donkey Kong 64.
He's showing his true colors yet again.
Discerning taste, my friend. Discerning taste.
I tried. No, that game was bad. That game was bad, and it took me out of the 3D platforming, because that collecting was just ridiculous at that point. They took it way too far.
Yep.
It became not fun anymore.
So were you excited when they announced the Donkey Kong 64 as part of the N64 Virtual Console? Like, that was one of the launch titles. Do you remember? Yeah, exactly. You don't remember.
I got it just because I wanted to revisit it, but no, I didn't. The only one I bought was Super Mario 64, and I don't like it. Sadly, the controller was built for it, and that camera just is real wonky and stuff. So I don't know. What about Cruisin' World?
I was gonna say Cruisin' USA. I never played Cruisin' World.
We can go with the original. We don't have to go with the sequel. But
it was a good time, man. That was about as Sega as it was gonna get for you at that time.
You're right, and it was a good game.
See, and that's I was sort of just getting into I definitely knew GoldenEye was a good game. I knew some of them are just glaring. These are masterpieces, and I enjoyed my time with Cruisin' USA. But my older brother almost made a bit of a joke of it, because he didn't hang out with us all the time, but whenever he did, he's like, I want to play Cruisin' USA. So it became a joke more than anything. But I ended up spending a lot of time with it, so I just never really knew, like, is that just us, or is that like everybody else too?
It was a good game.
Okay.
All right, so we got one.
What about a Mario Party game?
I think if you're going to do a Mario Party game, the only one you can do is 2.
Yep.
I think that's it. You want to do Mario Party 2?
Let's do it. I was giving the peace sign to Bobby for everybody not watching the video. That's for 2. That also works for 2.
All right.
Keep it moving.
What about Castlevania?
I never played it on 64.
I don't think it was a great game. I don't feel like it was the best of them. But let's hold off on that one before we do.
Some other what about Mario Golf? Do you like it? Do you not like it?
I didn't like that version.
Yeah.
I didn't like that or Mario Tennis, honestly.
Sure.
All Let's go a little obtuse, a little off the beaten path.
Okay.
What about Disney Tarzan?
Wow. I have no idea. I never.
You never played it? The Disney games were good, and that's the thing. Like
I know Aladdin was good, so I could see
Aladdin was good and all that. Like,
that is weird.
Yeah. All right, so let's go Nintendo games. I've got either Pilot Wing 64.
I'm okay with that.
Or F-Zero X.
I didn't love F-Zero X.
Yeah,
I might have been. It might just be me. And it's not like Pilot Wings was like a masterpiece either. But that was good. That was a launch game.
Yeah,
kind of important. I feel like I'm sort of out of like that first party like Mario brand of.
The one that I would like to see it on the list, but I don't know if you're with me on it, is Ken Griffey Jr. Slugfest.
Oh man, I don't know. You kicked out International Superstar Soccer, so I think I might hold it against you here. I never played it. I'm okay with it. Dead set against soccer.
Because soccer's whatever.
Here's baseball video game form. Okay, you ready? Swing. 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 You don't. Oh, you hit it. Okay, so you run into that first base.
All right, stop. Anyway, I think Banjo-Tooie can. I think we need to get Banjo-Tooie on the list.
I think that might work. How do you feel about Harvest Moon 64?
Yes.
That is a yes.
That's kind of like a kind of RPG flavor to it.
That's the biggest game. Like I feel like that's the thing you can sink probably the most time into here out of probably any of these games.
All right. So what I have left.
All right.
On my list.
Okay, it's coming down to the wire.
I've got Donkey Kong 64.
Cross it off.
Ready to Rumble Boxing.
Never played it.
Yoshi's Story.
Sure.
Castlevania.
Never played it.
Jet Force Gemini.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that. Yeah, that's going to probably have to go. People love that game.
Yeah. Because we have one spot left.
Oh, man.
So what do you have left on your list?
I have Dr. Mario 64. I feel like it's kind of like a good one for this style of console. Not necessary.
All right, let's do this. I'm going to throw Jet Force Gemini in there. All right?
See how it feels.
And then what I want you to... Now, that fills our list.
All right.
But what I want you to do is to read me what you feel. Not what you feel. Read me what you have left. And then let's figure out what we feel has to be on this list. And then we're obviously going to have to kick something in order to do it. So
I don't think any of these have to be honest. So give me just your first, like...
I don't have anything left.
Bad. So just give me your first, like, your initial thought. Like, one word answer, like, what you think.
Okay, yeah.
Vigilante 8.
No.
Dr. Mario 64.
Maybe.
Tony Hawk 2.
Oh, man.
Tony Hawk, and, like, I think the second one is the one. But probably only because that's the one I spend more time with.
Tony Hawk was big.
Tony Hawk was great.
And those games, I would say that should probably be on there. I would probably say yes to that.
Okay, so what do we have on there that could get bumped?
Did
you put Ken Griffey?
I would kick Ken Griffey Jr. out of there and put Tony Hawk in there.
Okay.
Right. So we'll kick Ken Griffey out.
Sorry, Ken.
Tony Hawk.
Tony Hawk's still skateboarding, so.
2. All right. And then what else you have?
I got Worms Armageddon.
No.
And then 1080 snowboarding. This is why they're left to the end.
Yeah, no.
It's fine.
Now, okay. Dr. Mario.
But we get it on the NES. Forget it.
Yeah,
we got it on the NES.
All right, so this is our official If We Ran Nintendo 64 Classic Mini list. This is what we would put on and create. Starting off, Wayne Gretzky 3D Hockey.
Woo!
Mario 64. Super Smash. GoldenEye. WWF No Mercy. Mario Kart 64. Star Fox 64. Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. Turok the Dinosaur Hunter. Conker's Bad Fur Day. NBA Jam 99. Star Wars Rogue Squadron, Star Wars Shadow of the Empire, Mortal Kombat Trilogy, Killer Instinct Gold, Bomberman 64, Wave Race 64, Blast Corps, NFL Blitz, Diddy Kong Racing, Paper Mario, Banjo-Kazooie, Cruising USA, Mario Party 2, Pilot Wings 64, Banjo-Tooie, Harvest Moon 64, Jet Force Gemini, and Tony Hawk 2.
That's solid, man.
That's solid. I think, when you look at it, now I'm going to say this. When you look at this list compared to other lists, what the actual NES Classic Mini is, there's a lot more sports games on this. But like we said at the start of the show, I didn't realize how many sports titles were on the N64 until I actually started going through an official list to get ideas, refresh my memory. Because obviously, look, the Zelda's going on there, and sadly there was no Metroid on that console. It's one of the first console. It was the first console that didn't get a Metroid game. So, you knew you were getting Zelda. You knew you were getting Mario. You knew you were getting Mario Kart. You knew you were getting Smash. There was games you knew were definitely going to go on the list. But then after that, you start to your memory. You need to jog your memory. So when I went through the list, I was like, man, there is a lot of sports titles on, the N64. I didn't realize how many sports titles were on the N64. So taking that away, I feel like this list does have
4-player games. Like sports games are great for 4-player. And that was the first one.
So like looking at this list, I see there's a lot more sports titles than your traditional RPGs or action titles, things of that nature. But I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? Like, because they're arcadey sports games. It's not like we have the classic simulator games. Like the Wayne Gretzky hockey, it's basically, a street style, like basically, it's like an NFL blitz for hockey.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what that is.
The only true sports game we had, Ken Griffey Jr. Slugfest, we pulled off. So we don't even have a sport, like a true classic.
Superstar Soccer, of course.
That was never going to make the list. We have a lot of...
What the crack?
We have a lot of 3D platforms.
We left Animal Crossing. Did you know? Do we not like Animal Crossing?
That wasn't on the N64.
I'm looking at a list here.
That was in Japan.
Oh, Japan only. Japan only. All right, everybody just relax.
That version actually came to GameCube.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So when you look at this list, too, the other thing that you take away from this list is heavily 3D platformers. But that was the era.
That's the time.
That was the time, and that's what the era we were in, that we got a lot of 3D platformers. So I'm happy with the list. I like it a lot. I think there's also quite a few racers on this list.
I'd buy it just for wrestling, man. WWF No Mercy.
No Mercy, to me, is
spectacular.
Best game on that console. I actually have it sitting in my console in the load spot. It's so good.
What other game, like in a genre where like you still look back to that as being the pinnacle? Like even now we've got our great, like the 2K games are great.
Yeah.
But I still would way rather play No Mercy. There's no other.
I felt like, okay, so here's the thing that I took from No Mercy. The characters, the look of them, was the first time they had like a little bit of a cartoony look, but they look kind of really like the characters.
Yeah, they had just enough shading in their faces just so you could kind of like make out their, like what they sort of look like.
They were the ones that started the storylines.
Yes.
They started the run-ins.
Oh,
man. Like I never forget when you're going for the world title and you got to fight Andre the Giant. That was amazing. Like that was so cool. Like no game before that did that. And like here I am as Stone Cold Steve Austin, and I got to beat Andre the Giant, and he was a beast. Like you got to beat him down. But the other thing too that was cool about it was you could actually, like after you won all the titles and you got it all kind of figured out, you could create your own like wrestling matches.
Oh man!
Cards.
Yep.
And then, literally, if you're playing with your friends, they could take control of certain characters. You would take control of other characters. And if titles were changed or whatever, those titles officially changed on the list. Like it was awesome. You know what? Like what you did in 1-player, 2-player games affected. You know, because like here's an example.
So good.
If I was wrestling you for the world title, and you beat me, and you were using The Rock and I had Austin. If I went back through and played one-player campaign, The Rock had the title. And I would have to work through and beat The Rock. It was just cool how they did that stuff. And that was the game changer. You know, there was a lot of build up to that point. Like you had NWO, WCW, you know, that whole thing. And then you had like WrestleMania 2000. And that was the prelude to me.
Yeah.
But the weird thing too was like you had the games on, you know, you had SmackDown on PlayStation, and they were totally different wrestling games at the time. It was a totally different style, and I hated that style.
You know what I think of when I think of that game? I remember the load times. That's what I think of with SmackDown.
Yeah, and there was
those are terrible.
What I remember, okay, we're going to throw you back into some history. I was a huge wrestling fan. Like
shocking.
No, but
I didn't know that.
No, really? You didn't?
I know that. Bobby, everybody knows that.
I don't think everybody knows that. But I mean, I was like huge into wrestling back then. I mean, I like it a lot now, but nothing compared to what I was. So we used to go to wrestling events, me and my cousins and my friends. We went one time, we were friends with a bunch of people that worked at Applebee's, and we went there one time and bought it. We had 18 people with us.
That's
Took
awesome.
the entire row up. And it was, I'm going to get a little sidetracked here real quick. So my cousin,
another show to do here, Bobby.
Whatever. My cousin,
you got a pack.
We still got about 10 minutes. My cousin gets into an argument with a guy. Guy's running his mouth. Doesn't realize the whole row is us. So now he's mouthing off.
How does he not realize?
He don't realize because the two loudest mouths are my two cousins at the end. Everybody else is kind of quiet. They're not really like, you know what I mean? So he's thinking these two loud mouths, and the guy's girlfriend is running her mouth, like getting him in the fight. So now the two go down to go into the bathroom to fight, and the whole row clears out. Now we go into the bathroom, we surround the guy, and all of a sudden the guy's looking around. He's like, "What's going on?" We're like, and we're all like, "Well, if you're after him, you got to take all us too, because we ain't letting him get beat up."
And then he gets a chair to the face.
Yeah,
and then you set up
and
the ladders and the
also the guy
tables.
backs down because he didn't realize, like, oh my god, there was 18 people. Like, it was awesome. But and I don't even know where I was going. Oh, so at the time on AOL, I was involved in what they called eFeds, Electronic Wrestling Federations. So it was all role playing. You would type up. You had the president and the commissioner who would type up the matches, and then, like, example, he'd put me against you, right? And he would say you have a 3 role play limit, meaning you could type. Each of us could type 3 role plays each. And it was basically cutting promos. So I would be like, "Oh, Sean, you're a bum," and then, you set the background like I'm standing in the locker room, and I'm just getting out of the shower, and I got my towel on, and just
I love it.
You set the scenario, and then you start talking trash, and then the president would view the two. He'd read the promos, and he'd pick a winner out of the two. You did the better promos this week, you win. So I actually had a federation that I ran. Now, at the end of the week, when you pick the winners, you have to type up the cards. So now you're typing the wrestling matches like you're watching on Raw. Pyro start off the show, and you got commentators. It's like a storyline. It's like a story.
I love it.
So now I run a federation. It's called the SWO, Supreme Wrestling Organization. That was the federation I ran. This is so geeky. This is so messed up. So now what I did was all the wrestlers, we all got this game. And obviously, we make characters that are based on our wrestlers that we wrestle with.
Oh, I love it.
And we started exchanging the because you have like the move sets and all that, but it was all numbers. They would give you numbers next to everything, like the hair. You pick the number.
Yeah.
We'd take all the numbers and we would pass them along to each other. And then like my No Mercy was filled with my wrestling roster of my friends. It was so awesome, and that's why to me,
right? Like once you got into that character mode or character creator mode, you're just like tap done, tap done. I want this move. Like you're not searching for it. The first couple of times you're like, I don't know, but after a while, like you got snappy with it.
Yeah, it was good. It was so good. That was
probably the best character creator, probably until like Tiger Woods kind of came up and did that crazy stuff with your face. Like you could make the guy look exactly like you, but man, those That was such a good time for games.
And then I remember
So
being
accessible too. That C button, that was probably the best time you're using a C button.
Yeah.
On the N64 was for wrestling games.
The other thing too was IGN, I remember, had a section for No Mercy.
Yes.
And they were creating actual professional wrestlers from other federations.
Mhm.
Because if you remember, THQ, if I'm not mistaken, was doing
they were doing NWO as well.
they were doing NWO stuff. So
Mhm.
they took a lot of like the moves, like the entrance moves and stuff,
Oh,
and were
man.
putting them in, but they were naming them other things.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, you
then-
get Goldberg in there, you get Sting.
Yeah, and what happened was IGN was actually creating wrestlers
Oh, I love
like
it.
Raven and all that, and like if you want to make Raven, here's the codes, and this is all the stuff you need. So people were grabbing those and adding like Raven and like Billy Kidman and all these WCW guys
Kidman,
Yeah.
wow.
that you couldn't even get. They were grabbing
Mhm.
them and putting them in. It was so much fun.
I'm so blanking. What was Goldberg's move? What the hell? I'm so
Yeah, the
blanking
jackhammer.
on this. Oh, that is such a
He had the
badass
spear
move.
and the jackhammer.
And that spear looked like it hurt so bad.
Yeah, it did.
What a
Yeah, it did.
monster. What a
It was-
monster.
He ripped you in half. It was awesome.
Oh god, he was great.
So that is all.
Aw.
You listen. We got another hour. I'm just saying that is all for the first episode.
All right.
Thank you guys for watching us on YouTube, listening to us on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play, all that good stuff. We sincerely appreciate it. You can follow us. You can follow me, Instagram, Twitter, at Nintendo Gurus. Check out Sean's other podcasts. He does We the Gamercast, Nerdflix and Chill. You can follow him, Sean Capri, Sean like Connery, Capri like the Pants on the Twitters. My other show is the Geekcast with Toby. Check that out. Check out our guest appearances. We were on 2 podcasts this last week, right? We were on the Warp Whistle
Yep.
with Mark, and what was the other one?
Character Crunch.
Character Crunch. I wanted to say Captain Crunch. I don't know why.
That's all right. I blank
Char-
all the time, man.
Yeah,
You're
Character
talking-
Crunch with David Moore. Great show. I had so
Man,
much
that
fun
was
on that show.
so much fun. Like
It was a blast.
I don't know what happened. Like
I
we
don't
just
know either. We just kind of took the show over and just.
I was gonna say, like, sorry, David. Like, we
Yeah.
kind of just like up there, like, it's like a kid throws a party, and like the 2 jerks come over. Like, we kind of like the door just cracked open, and then Bobby and I just like jump kick the door open.
Yeah.
Like, we're here. We got our beer. Like, you're like, this is
Yeah.
not beer. This is a no booze party.
Yeah.
We're coming in. We got beer. We're throwing up everywhere. We're spilling stuff.
We're opening his presents.
Oh my.
This is what you got.
Oh man, he's
So-
like he's trying to move on, and we're like, oh no, we're gonna stick with this topic. We're gonna
Yes.
keep talking about this
Good
50
stuff.
games list from Times Magazine. Oh, good
Exactly.
time. That was a
good.
great time. That was so
It was
much
great.
fun.
It was a lot of fun. We got to do that again sometime.
All right,
If he'll have
David,
us
we're
back.
coming over.
Dave, we're coming back. We're not even asking you, Dave. We're taking your
Coming
show
over.
over. We'll be there Thursday, like it or not. So that's all. Peace out. Cub Scout out.
See me later.
I get enough of that once a week. I only get twice a week.
I don't understand what Mark is doing if he doesn't have some of these games.
you know what his problem was
I have every game I want on the Wii U.
he also
Name a
got
game.
married. He also got married a couple weeks ago, and he had to go on like a no spending spree.
Do you know what happened when Chelsea and I got married? We put Mario and Peach on our wedding cake. We put Mario and Peach pictures above our bed so that we could see like what side we sleep on. A friend of ours, little like stitch crocheted or stitch cross stitch,
Mhm.
little Mario and Peach with our wedding date on there. And then we bought a second Wii U
Yeah,
so that we could each play.
but you guys are special. Mark's just special in a different way.
I mean, I love Mark. That his hair. His
You know
hair
what?
is just like
Would you stop? Why you got to go into this bromance stuff, man? You're starting to make me very jealous, and I don't like it. I don't like it. We're gonna put a stop to it.
don't be jealous. I'm not podcasting with him. I'm here with you.
I know. I love you. I said to him
Okay.
today. I said, "You're like the 4th person that's asked us to podcast like me and Sean, the podcast.
I love
together.
it, man.
I love it.
So-
I said it's like we're a duo, man. It's
Yeah,
like we're
I'll take it.
it's like we're Sonny and Cher, man, and we're just
What does that make me? I'll be Cher.
you're Cher.
Do you believe in love?
Well,
Wait, that means you're dead at that point. I
I
think.
feel like I'm dead. Yeah, I feel like I'm dead. So
Oh no,
I might as
no,
well
you
be
don't.
dead.
What are you wearing? You got some Mickey Mouse there? You getting ready for oh no, the
Oz-
Animaniacs.
But no, that's Oswald.
I can't see. I can only see like black. Oh, there it is. Oh, okay.
It's Oswald the rabbit.
I thought for sure that was Animaniacs. I was thinking about Animaniacs today.
No. You know about
I've got-
Oswald, right?
Of course.
Okay.
I was going to I was
A lot
going
of
to take a
people don't.
selfie in the mirror. I got this shirt on. And I've got
Oh,
Mario
Kirby, really?
Mario pajamas. Mario
Kirby, really?
pajamas. What the hell's wrong with this guy? Look at him.
I don't like
He
Kirby.
even says it's like, this is my name. It's Kirby. In case you didn't
Yeah.
know, here it is. It's labeled.
I'll pass all day.
It's a comfy shirt.
Yeah, he's. I don't like him.
When I put on this shirt, I go like.
I look like Kirby. That's the problem.
Stop it.
I listen
I'm
wholeheartedly.
going for like a John Leguizamo look. I'm going for Luigi Mario here.
I'm beyond Mario. I'm Captain Lou Albano Mario.
Oh man, we could totally.
I'm
I need to get up
for
on some
Halloween. We
stilts or
should dress
something,
up.
but- oh
For Halloween,
my
we should
God,
dress
that
up and record.
Oh, I have a Mario costume because Chelsea has a Peach one, but I would definitely be the Luigi in this.
Well, of course, compared to me. You know what I
I'd
mean?
just
Like,
jump. You'd just be like running around and
I'd be
doing the
running.
right work, and I'd be jumping all weird and stuff. Like my legs are just like waving around.
well, let's kick this off because if not, we'll be here all damn night
Oh
recording.
man,
So the first one is the Nintendo 64 episode. You ready for that?
no.
Okay, here we go. What is up, everybody, and welcome to episode